Warm greetings from the High 10. It is Everyday Shenanigans on this Wednesday, Hump Day, April 29th, 2020. Hope everyone is well this week. Hope everyone is staying safe during this epic pandemic. I want to bring you some very, very tragic news out of New York City. This is the most baffling story I've heard since this coronavirus jumped off. This was updated tonight at 7:14 p.m. New York Post, if you need verification for the storyline. Dozens of bodies found in U-Haul trucks outside NYC funeral home. Police found dozens of bodies being stored in unrefrigerated trucks outside a Brooklyn funeral home and lying on the facility's floor Wednesday, law enforcement sources told the Post. Between 40 to 60 bodies were discovered either stacked up in U-Haul box trucks outside Andrew Cleckley Funeral Services in Flatlands or on the building's floor after neighbors reported a foul odor around the property, sources said. NYPD detectives were joined by several other city agencies investigating the trucks at the Utica Avenue facility Wednesday evening, with the section of the street closed off to the public. John DiPietro, who owns a neighboring property, said he had observed cadavers being stored in the trucks for at least several weeks during the coronavirus pandemic. "You don't respect the dead that way. That could have been my father, my brother," said DiPietro. Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams was on the scene but could not confirm any details of the storage. Adams said the city needed to ramp up staff for bereavement committee to deal with a bereavement committee to deal with the surging deaths due to coronavirus. "We need to bring in funeral directors, morgues, medical examiners, clergy. When you find bodies in trucks like this throughout our city, treating them in an undignified manner, that's unacceptable." Police called in the State Department of Health. A spokesman at the agency said the department is actively looking into the matter but couldn't comment further. In addition to the two U-Hauls holding corpses, the facility had two more refrigerated trucks also storing bodies and a third box truck of empty caskets, police sources said. The funeral home told the officers that the bodies were supposed to be going to a crematorium, but they didn't come and pick them up, sources told the Post. The owner of Pimco Supplies, a kitchen appliance parts supplier nearby the funeral home, called the situation a disaster. "They were storing them in U-Haul trucks. We knew what was going on, but not the extent," the owner said. "One thing to be killed by the coronavirus, another to be treated inhumanly." Calls to the funeral company, went unanswered Wednesday afternoon. If you need verification for this story, New York Post is the source. I don't even know where to start. I have been an aggravated mess the past 24 hours, less than 24 hours. I've been agitated. Well, I've been agitated more than 24 hours. I ain't gonna even lie. I've been in a tiffy mood, aggravated, fed up, sick of people, sick of people in general, life. Just right now, I'm just, aggravated. And then seeing this story come up tonight, I was about to take a shower, and I was like, wow, let me get this story out to everybody out of New York City. I don't know what the hell is wrong with people, but first of all, let me say this. When the families called the funeral home, Cleckley Funeral Home, what answer did you give them to why their loved one was not ready for a service and or to retrieve the ashes for a graveside service, let's say, whichsoever? What answer did you give them? What did the family say after weeks of not getting ashes? I'm curious. What the hell did the funeral home say to why they have yet to give the family the ashes of their loved one? And what did the family say when they asked about why the body has not been prepared for services? And obviously this Cleckley Funeral Home does not have its own crematorium, so they sent the bodies out to be cremated and have been storing them in unrefrigerated trucks for weeks. Now neighbors are complaining about a stench and a smell. Come on now. Are we serious? And then we have to ask, how many weeks are we talking? 2 weeks? 3 weeks? 4 weeks? We've been hearing the stories out of New York City that is the mainland for the epidemic, for the coronavirus. That a lot of people have been passing away and sick in New York area, New York State. And then we get this jacked up story, inhumane story of bodies being stored in unrefrigerated trucks, awaiting to be cremated. And I'm trying to figure out, whoever runs this funeral home, what type of sap-ass excuse were you going to give these families after a couple of days of the body not being cremated? So if you're not answering the phone right now by the news outlets, I'm betting my bottom dollar you weren't answering the phone when the families were calling. And why didn't the family members, I'm just saying because I don't really know, did any of them ever go down there to Cleckley Funeral Home and say, hey, it's coming up 3 days, 4 days, 1 week, 1 week and 3 days, whichsoever, I'm coming to get my family member and take him or her to somebody else? Do you all think that possibly happened? Do you think possibly loved ones went down to the funeral home and asked for their loved one to be removed from their facility to go to another funeral home? And just imagine what the answer was. I'll wait. Because you know somebody did. You know damn well somebody went down to that funeral home. And more than one somebody's went down there to ask about their loved one. And I can only imagine what answer they got from the funeral home director, manager, desk representative. Come on now. When you saw you were getting too many people at your facility, your funeral home, you should have declined the bodies, because we all know that a body doesn't get sent to a funeral home unless it's been claimed by somebody. Let's start there. And we also know that it has been mentioned in a previous article I brought you about bodies that weren't claimed been taken to a cemetery on an island for unclaimed bodies. So as I state, whenever the funeral home gets involved, and that means somebody claimed the body in order for the body to go to the designated funeral home. So somebody claimed those bodies and had them sent to this Cleckley funeral home. So why in the hell are you keeping those people hostage, talking about you can't get them cremated? The civil thing to do is to call the people back who petitioned for the bodies to go there to say, hey, the crematorium is backed up, having issues, whatsoever. You need to come retrieve your mama, daddy, cousin, sister, whomever, and take them to another funeral home. I'm not believing that I'm even repeating what I just said to you, because this is just ridiculous. And as someone said, a business person just said here, it's bad enough to die of corona. Now you lying around in a U-Haul truck outside of a funeral home, unclaimed and rotting. You've been claimed, let me say that right. You've been claimed by a family member, but you're stored in a truck because you can't get to the crematorium. Are you following this story? This is the most asinine BS on paper to date pertaining to this virus, besides America not getting adequate testing, excuses about swabs, the president don't want to talk about coronavirus no more. Don't get me started on that. That lets you know his mindset for all you dodo birds that love to follow in behind him. Yeah, I'm talking about him, because this New York governor, Cuomo, going out his way to have to wheel and deal on his own because of an asinine president that acts like this is a joke, this is no big deal, it's just a common cold and people are dying. Now you got the mayor of New York taking unclaimed bodies to an island to bury them, people who have not been claimed. And now you have people in refrigerated trucks, unrefrigerated trucks, not making it to the crematorium. There are no words to describe what the hell has been going on the past month, dealing with this virus, dealing with a jacked up president that doesn't seem to care, walking around like he's a head honcho. No, you ain't. And what would be interesting is if you were to take ill Mr. Trump. Let's see how dignified your homegoing would be. Yeah, I'm saying it. This is actual buffoonery. What has taken place in this country pertaining to this virus. And some of you dodo birds still walking around acting like it ain't nothing. It's just another form of the flu. The same amount of folks died last year. Correction, 6,000 more died this year. You know the Queen does her homework. Bye, Felicia. And bye, Tito. If you come to the Queen talking junk, you better come correct. Because I read, unlike some of you out there that just talk. I read. And last year, I don't remember having this much talk about it on TV. From the president, Fauci, Pookie, Ray Ray, nobody else. Governors, mayors, wasn't nobody talking about no flu. Folks falling down from the flu. Folks having strokes from a flu. Folks having blood clots from a flu. Hello? Intestine problems. Brain problems. Brain dead. 5-year-olds, 10-year-olds. Yeah, you see where I'm going with this, huh? I'll wait if somebody can bring me verification of said stories from the year 2018-19 flu season, that all the shenanigans was going on with the flu. Yeah. You didn't hear of pandemic of all these elderly people falling sick from the flu last year in France, Italy, Spain, China. I'll wait. So miss me with all this. It's just the flu. It's just another type of flu. Yeah. And she's a mean mama jamma. Because this heifer's taking you down all the way to the pavement. She ain't playing. This is atrocious, what is happening. And as far as the country opening up on May 1st, good luck with that. That's all I can say. Do we need to get back to the business? Of course. But what is the price for getting back to business? Some of you better wake up out there. You keep listening to that blockhead up there in the White House and listening to these other stupid people walking around don't want to wear gloves and masks because they're invincible. They got God, they got the Bible, they got Allah. Good luck with all that. God ain't talked to you individually, and he ain't told you nothing about corona, and he ain't told you that you would be spared. And let's keep it 100. Some of them folks who died, and some of those who are sick right now, and some of those who are on ventilators, you want to tell me it ain't a Christian in one of them groups? I'll wait. Speak about what you know about. And if you don't know what you're talking about, you should keep your damn mouth closed. Because there are sick people, sick children, sick elderly, sick young people, sick middle-aged people dying with strokes, blood clots, brain injuries from coronavirus. So if you don't have anything nice to say and dignified to say about this coronavirus, then you should keep your wagging mouth closed. And that's coming from the Queen. This is no time for jokes and idiotic talk that you saved by Jesus. You saved by Allah and all that old foolishness. Child, going with all that. Do some of us have a good immune system? Possibly so. If we're still here talking, possibly so. But it doesn't mean a damn thing if that heifer decides she wants to knock on our door and pay us a visit. Praying for those in New York City. Praying for those who are in that trucks, plural, and have not made it to the crematorium. And praying for those families who are going to have to now decide what the hell to do with those rotting bodies. Shameful. God bless America. Bless all of you. Thanks for joining me on this rainy Wednesday in the high 10. You all stay safe out there. Wash your hands. Keep your hygiene up. Like, share, subscribe. Drop your comments below. This is Everyday Shenanigans. Have a blessed week. Bye-bye.